Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review. Next up is the Hasbro Marvel Legends series, the Infinity Saga 2023 wave, Avengers Infinity War, Bruce Banner. This is only our second MCU Bruce Banner figure. We did get a comic one just recently in the Avengers Beyond Earth's Mightiest 60th anniversary line. But as far as an MCU Bruce Banner, we've only now had two. This first one was in a 4-pack that was exclusive to Amazon, the Age of Ultron set. So we have two. This one was pretty good. This one is definitely better, but still it's still kind of wonky on this one. I still hate the suited body legs. I want to say this is the better legs, but it might be the same lower half as this one, and I really hope that's not the case. But when I open it up, I'll see for sure. But the Infinity Saga wave is just now hit Canada. I got my set from toysnowman.com. Link in the video description below, which is my referral link. You use that link, sign up, create your account. You'll get a 5% off coupon code in your Frost Rewards. But Canada's been getting everything. Toy Snowman is your one-stop shop for all your action figure collecting needs. So whether it's Hasbro stuff, McFarlane toys, DC Multiverse, import figures, all of that, toysnowman.com has you covered. As of right now, Bruce Banner, Black Widow are sold out. I think the only ones that are in stock and available are the Iron Man Mark II, Thor, and the War Machine figure. The others have sold out. Make sure you're following me on Instagram as well. As soon as the figures became in stock, I had posted and shared that they were in stock, so you guys can place your orders. So make sure you're following me on Instagram. Look out for my story posts. But here, Infinity Saga, Avengers Infinity War up at the top and on the side there. The packaging is just like all the other Infinity Saga figures that we've gotten in the past. That goes back a couple of years, because the Infinity Saga was that anniversary line that happens at the end of the summer each year. But for Infinity Saga, it seems that figures are still continuing to come every now and then, whether it's like through exclusives like the Gladiator Hulk Amazon exclusive, or this wave here, which should be in all stores relatively soon, I would say, probably November, December time. So, make sure you be on the lookout. But I think Black Widow was the most sought after, and then Bruce Banner was a close second, because we just haven't gotten any other Bruce Banner figures, while the other ones and stuff were just repaints. The Black Widow had some new stuff, and then Bruce Banner is new-ish, because we get a new head sculpt, which is done really, really nice. So let's go ahead and get Bruce Banner out of the package and take a look. Okay, for Bruce Banner, we're going right into the close-up look. The only accessories that he comes with is an extra set of hands. So he has fists and he has the open hands. So these are the more like realistic-looking hands, and they're big. They're just like way, way, way too big. I mean, look at that hand compared to his face. The hands are just kind of crazy big. We got the pinless arms. These are the arms that first came with the Jimmy Woo figure. So they have the pinless arms there. But what my biggest fear is the suited body legs. It is essentially the same figure as the previous Bruce Banner that we got. The difference is in the arms and then the head sculpt, but it's essentially the same figure. We have black pants this time around, and we have black shoes. He's got a plaid shirt, so there's a number of deco hits on the shirt that takes up a lot of the budget for the figure, I'm sure. But the pinless arms are nice, because these arms kind of sucked. But overall, the figure's just not great, because these legs are terrible. I absolutely hate these legs. Kind of like Black Widow, though, right? It's something with the legs that are just a problem. And a lot of it has to do with the feet. I mean, the legs are pretty thin, but the issue is truly in the feet, because if you look at the design of the ankles, right? So that ankle is part of the leg. There's just not a lot of room for that foot to hinge up. As you can see, it's just kind of hinged down, and it's not real straight out. And then the feet end up being very, very, very thin. So it's just a problem, and it makes it hard for them to stand. There was updated legs that went with the young Nick Fury body. They were a little bit bigger and a little bit more stable to use. It ended up being fairly gummy and things like that, because it still had pins. But they were way better legs than this, and so it's unfortunate. I don't know if it has something to do with this torso matching the size of the waist, and that other figure may not be able to. But I really wish it would have been a different body than this one. So that kind of sucks. Now, is Bruce going to be able to do a whole lot? Are you going to pose him around in certain things like that? No, you're really not. He's just going to kind of stand there, and you might try to do something to where he's beginning to Hulk out or something, and then he goes into the Hulk. So there's not a whole lot you need to do, but standing up easily would be nice. He's going to tip. And tip. So it just kind of depends, and he's kind of leaning. So it just kind of sucks. The highlight here is the head sculpt, and the head sculpt, in my opinion, is very good. Now, does Mark Ruffalo have that big of a forehead? I'd have to go back and double check. I'm not sure. Maybe it's a little bit bigger than it should, but the head sculpt itself, I think, is really good. Is it perfect to Mark Ruffalo? No, but I think it's a really close match that looks pretty good, because the previous one, believe it or not, was decent at the time. Like the hair, how he had a little bit longer hair back then. You know, we didn't have the digital face print back then. Head sculpts were still pretty shiny, but even then, it was still, you know, a fairly decent likeness to Mark Ruffalo, in my opinion. But then you look at something like this, and you're like, oh yeah, look at what Hasbro can do nowadays. And then the digital face print also makes a huge difference there. But yeah, that's it for Bruce Banner. Not a whole lot going on, you know, with the jacket or anything like that. So yeah, so now let's go ahead and see his articulation, which is not a whole lot. Okay, so how can Bruce move? His head is on a disc hinge, so he can look up all the way. He can look down all the way, which works out quite well. You get full rotation in there. Is there some pivot? Not really any pivot going on in the neck, unfortunately. You can get the arms to go out. Try not to be too rough with those arms. You can only get the arms to go out that much. That's not really enough, unfortunately. So that much, but I mean, he's in a jacket, a suit jacket kind of thing, or a blazer, you know. Full rotation in there, upper bicep swivel, double jointed pinless elbows. Again, at least we get the pinless elbows, which are nice. But these updated arms, I think, make the arms look a little long, and then his hands, again, are very large. They swivel, and they have the standard horizontal hinge on the open hands, as well as the fists. He can crunch forward that much, so he can do his little bow, right, when he meets T'Challa in Wakanda, where, you know, Grody's like, yeah, you bow. So you can kind of make him bow a little bit. There, you got waist swivel, legs go out that far apart, not a whole lot at all. He can kick forward really high though, so that's pretty good. Leg doesn't go back at all. You got an upper thigh cut in there, double jointed pinned knee, so that much bend there at the knee. There's no calf swivel and ankle swivel or anything like that. You get a foot that hinges down only so much. You can bend that foot over and hinge it down more if you want to get it over the pant leg. Because the feet are just so thin on this, you know, particular body set. There's not going to be any hinge up, because that foot shoe is just going to hit the pant leg, so there's nothing there. But you do have ankle pivot, technically peg holes on the bottom of the feet, but they're ineffective because it's such a small peg hole that they're really not effective for anything. They're just kind of there to be there, I think, at that point. But yeah, there's the articulation for Bruce Banner. Does he need to move around like crazy? No, he really doesn't, but that doesn't mean that we should have these terrible legs and feet on any figure. So hopefully, you know, these legs stop being used and we start getting the other suited body legs, because they're just so much better than this one. Okay, and here they're side by side with the two Bruce Banner figures, so you can see them there. The head sculpt, you know, the update to it makes it really look like Mark Ruffalo. I really like that. It came out really good. The pinless arms are nice. It's just the body and the legs that I just really am not a fan of. I hate these legs. I hate this lower half. I wish we would have gotten different ones. It's just, I really, really wish that Hasbro would just retire this suited body and stop using it. You know, we have a couple of newer suited body figures that are better, in my opinion. So hopefully, you know, we get to the point where, you know, that's what we're seeing, and we don't see stuff like this. Now, is Bruce Banner going to get into some crazy dynamic poses and things like that? He's really, really not. So are those things necessary for Bruce Banner? Maybe not, but even then, you know, just getting him to stand up shouldn't be so much of a challenge. Like it is for me to get him to stand up. He kept falling down and pissing me off. So, you know, I wish we would have had better legs, but, you know, this is what we got. Still better than this, technically. Okay, and for side-by-side comparisons, you could see the Avengers Endgame Hulk Build-A-Figure versus Bruce Banner. Huge size difference, but you could see they kind of went with the narrower head, where it's kind of elongated, you know, up and down. There, he's got a big forehead on the Hulk Build-A-Figure, not as big as the Bruce Banner figure, but you can see that there. We get a little bit of gray in the sides of the hair, which is a nice touch, because, you know, we got that on the hair for the Build-A-Figure. But yeah, big size difference between those two, and I think that ends up looking pretty good. But if anything, maybe the Bruce Banner figure is a little undersized. Maybe. But, you know, still pretty cool when you think, you know, he transforms into this. And just because I thought this would be funny, I threw the Bruce Banner head sculpt on the Hulkbuster Build-A-Figure because, you know, in Infinity War, he opens up the faceplate and he has his head out. He's like, oh, you guys are screwed now when Thor shows up. It doesn't actually work really on there. It's just resting on there. But I thought I'd give it a shot and have some fun with it. A tale of two hard-to-stand figures. So far, the Infinity Saga wave. Two figures, I think these are going to be the two most popular from the wave, simply for the fact that we hadn't gotten a single-release Bruce Banner MCU figure, or comic figure, I guess, for that matter, technically. But a single release of a Bruce Banner figure. So it was long overdue, much needed. Oh my god. Black Widow. And then this Black Widow not having... you know, this figure, the Winter Soldier Black Widow figure at the time was very hard to get. Like, it was, you know, one per case. Everybody wanted it. Very hard to get. So, you know, now people have a decent chance, an easy chance. I mean, pre-orders have sold out at quite a few places, but an easier chance to get it. And, you know, some updates to the upper torso and the arms, you know, made it decent. But, you know, a tale of the hard-to-stand figures. Same legs on both of them. That I just wish we would not ever get ever again because, you know, hard to stand. I'm surprised Bruce hasn't fallen over yet, but I'm sure if I leave him standing there long enough, he'll just tumble over at some point. But anyway, that's my review of the Bruce Banner figure. It's nothing special. The head sculpt is really, really good, though. It is really good. But if you need a Bruce Banner figure, this is the one to pick up. Will we ever get another Bruce Banner figure? Probably not, right? Let's face it. Like, I just don't see why we would get another Bruce Banner figure. Like, this one, I didn't see this one coming at all to begin with, but it's cool that we got it. But you guys let me know your thoughts down in the comments below on the Bruce Banner figure, on if it's one that you're going to be picking up or you passing on it. Let me know in the comments below. If you guys like this video, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you for watching.